All right, so I finally got the 72 Nova off the trailer, down the driveway, so we start cleaning it out and assessing the condition. Now, this thing might be a lot worse than I thought, but that's okay. Still going to work with it. I glanced up under it, and the floor pan is way worse than I thought it was, but I can make it work. It's just going to be a little more work than I thought, but that's okay. Now, pretty much every panel on this thing is either rusted or dented. Some a lot, some a little. Like the roof skin, for example. The roof skin is mostly surface rust. It's not bad. I don't see any really big dents in it, but it's fine. It's fine. The firewall has a little more rust in it than I thought. Some of it not so bad. We're going to go around that, look at everything. The first we're going to do is get this thing cleaned out real good, find out what the dead smell is. Hopefully not. Hopefully it just goes away when I pull the carpet out of it, and see what we're working with. All right, so I've got a bucket for some parts if there's anything good in there. It's not a big bucket because I don't expect much to be good in there. And then I got a trash can. Probably going to need a bigger trash can. All right, let's get the big stuff out first. Now we can work on getting the little stuff out, like power steering hoses and trash. That'll clean up. I think it might be easier just to grab what's left of the carpet and kind of pull it all out at once and throw it in the trash can, because I don't really think there's going to be anything hidden on top of the carpet that's any good. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm going to have to pull the shifter boot up first, though. Even though it does look like the carpet is cut across there, I'm still going to pull this out and try to get it all at one time, if it'll let me. All right, if I can get in here without hurting myself, I'm gonna take the back seat out, and we're gonna see how bad they butchered the transition panel between the package tray and the back seat panel, whatever you call it. We're gonna see how bad they butchered that, putting a speaker box in it. Now, normally this back seat has, once you get the bottom out of the way, the back has a bolt on this side, a bolt on this side, and then you just pull it out and lift it up, and it should come out. I really don't want to bear hug this thing too much, but just as okay, that's one side. And that's the other. I'm going to turn this seat out this way so you guys will see it before I do. We'll see how bad it is. All right, how bad is it? Am I going to be upset? Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. So most of the structure is still there, just the center of it's cut out. I mean, it looks like they did it with a can opener, but it's okay. Like I said, most of the structure is still there, so it doesn't look too bad yet. All right, now we're gonna try to get door panels off. Now, I've got this handy little tool that is made for taking these clips off. And usually there's a wire right there, a little wire clip. It'll come off. There it was. I lost a little clip, but that's okay. Oh, here it is. Alright, so now we can pull this door panel or rear panel off. I think this velour everywhere on the car is actually glued to the old vinyl, but I'm not sure. Alright, we're going to pull this door handle off using my little special tool here. A lot of times it's from the handle side, but depends on how they slip the clip on there when they put it back on. Yeah, that one's on this side. I think. Yeah, pretty sure I had it the right one. There we go. All right. So my glass is down in there with purple tint on it. The door doesn't look, and it's been cut for speakers, so it's mangled a little bit, but it's still functional. All right, let's see what this side looks like. Got a big old dirt dauber nest or something in it. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty solid, not butchered up. Got a little rust right here, but all in all, not too terrible. There we go. This one's about the same as the other one, except for the purple tint has all come off and laying down here at the bottom of the door. The regulator's up, the window's down. That's not great. It looks pretty rusty too. I don't know if it'll... All right, so now I'm going to pull this windlace off the back glass, try to pull my dome light down, and see if I can get the headliner to come down without needing to go to the hospital and get a decontamination shower. All right, windlace is in pretty good shape. One little spot in there. Well, found a rat's nest, and I'm not kidding, it's an actual rat's nest, and that's so nasty. All right, we're going to move on to the trunk, let the interior calm down a little bit, let all that crap settle. I'm not sure that's any good. Anybody know what this grill's out of? Transmission cross member. All right, I got all the big stuff out of the trunk. I got all the really big stuff out of the interior, and all the velour is ripped out of it except for the, well, the package tray is not velour, but the package tray is still in it, and then the dash and the A-pillar covers. So I'm gonna have to drill those screws out and see if I can get them out once I get the covers off. Doesn't sound like fun, but at least I don't have to worry about busting the windshield, right? So we're gonna get this thing vacuumed out and get the trunk vacuumed out and look a little closer at it. All right, so we got the trunk cleaned out best we could with a broom and dustpan and vacuum cleaner. It's pretty rotten, and the back cross panel is also pretty rotten. So hold back into the car, but that's not too big of a deal if you're going to cut it all out and put a fuel cell in it. Now, the inside's a different story. Inside's pretty bad, especially the passenger side front footwell and the rear footwell. This footwell's gone. That one's patched up, and underneath, yep, you can't see, but it's not great. The toe board up there has some light shining through, and there's enough carpet on there glued to it left over that I can't tell how much the rest of it is. Giant shifter hole. I did have some wind lace and some headliner bows. All the headliner brackets are there, so that's good. Notice there's nothing in my bucket for the good stuff. Nothing made it into there. The hood hinges have been cut, so they're no good. The passenger side front footboard looks like, I don't know, it looks like the transmission come apart and come up through the floor or something, I'm not sure. The rear of it is pretty bad. Now that is in between where the brace is. I think the brace is right here. I don't think, of course that might be a brace. I don't think it's a brace. I think the brace is right here where the seatbelt holes are. So yeah, so the floor pan's pretty bad. The bottom of the inner quarter right here and on the other side, both those are rusted out. Rocker panels have got a little rust in them. The dash looks okay right here, but I haven't gotten very far into there yet. Sure smells a lot better in here with all the upholstery removed. But still a lot more to go to get it cleaned up. But now we know what we're working with. Okay, so it's an AC car. Hopefully some of that stuff's reusable. Not in this car, but for another project. Cow panel doesn't look too bad. Maybe the windshield wiper mechanism is functional and not all rusted up. Hopefully I can get the motor out. I'll rebuild the disc brakes that are on here. Probably just get new calipers. And I've already got rotors that come off one of my other cars. Get some new calipers and hoses. Everything else should be okay. Check the bearings. I'll take the booster off and put a manual cylinder on there and not use the power booster. So I'll get a new one. Maybe the proportioning valve's good. If not, I've got another one of those also. Now there is some rust underneath the booster. Right here, this little block off plate. Part of it's rusted out and part of the firewall's rusted out. And that is around where the brake pedal pushes out on. So I'll have to make sure that that is secure before I go doing anything crazy with this car. But the good thing is the window channel seems to be okay all the way around. Now the bottom's not, and it's got filler in it. You can see it's got a bunch of body filler in it. You can see it right here where it's been patched up so that the windshield wouldn't leak. But I'm not worried about that too much either. The back window channel is also in really good shape. So no rust holes that I can see there. Not sure about the deck filler. The deck filler looks okay right there, but hard to tell. Once you get the glass out, there may be rust right at the bottom. Now this part of the package tray is rusted out real bad where the weather strip sits. But again, if I'm going to run this down a drag strip, I'm not worried about weather stripping. The trunk lid is rusted out really bad. I'm going to try to reuse this one just to make it good enough to latch and maybe put some pins in it to pin it on, get all the rust out of it so I don't litter the track. And the same thing with the taillight panel. I'm just going to try to make it usable. One thing that kind of stinks, someone took the 8.5 rear end out of it and put an 8.2 inch 10 bolt in there. Now, that's probably fine for most things, but it's always nice to have an extra 8.5. The frame rails look like they're in pretty good shape. It does have some poly bushings in the leaf springs. It's got multi-leaf springs, poly bushings in the rear and the front. It is not a posi. I jacked it up, checked it. But overall, pretty bad. I'm not sure if it's the worst Nova that I have. I've got some that are rustier in the back, some that are rustier on the roof. I'm not sure if I've had one this bad on the floor pan or not. And I've got one that's rustier on the firewall, but then the rest of it isn't as bad. So it is pretty bad. If you wanted to restore this thing, you'd have to replace every exterior panel on it. And you would probably have to cut another car up to get some of the stuff they don't reproduce, like your inner quarters and stuff like that. So it would need everything to make it a nice car again. Now you could make it a beater. Even for the street, you can make it a beater. But we're not going to do that. We're going to make this thing quick. Now, how quick? I've got a bunch of old parts that I used to run a long time ago. They've been sitting around. A wore-out engine. I'll throw some rings in, kind of do a budget rebuild on that engine. And it's already 60 over, so there's no boring it. But a cam wiped out in it. Hopefully, I can make enough power with that thing to go some low 12s. I'm going to aim for 11s. I'll be happy with anything that starts with a 12 in the quarter. And yeah, and I'll show you all my time splits. Now, if I say I'm going to run 11s in it and I don't, it's going to be okay. I'm not going to make up any excuses. You know, our track here is level. It doesn't go uphill or downhill, so I'm not going to make any excuses. If I can't make this thing run 11s with a bunch of old junk I've got laying around, then I just can't. Not a big deal. All right, guys, well, listen, like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think about this pile. And I'm going to be getting some work done to it pretty soon. And I've still got to get ready for race week. That's coming up in June. I've got to finish the budget Nova. That's going to be for sale very soon. And then I've got a bunch of stuff going on. Going to get this done. Going to be a good time. Check out my other videos. We'll see you next time.